Hi team, good morning from the border of North Korea. I saw you guys in America last night, had a big talk, State of the Union address, and I've been here on the border of North Korea at a peace conference gathering with South Korean, North Korean, Japanese, and friends from all over the world who are also talking about the North, who are also talking about nuclear weapons, who are also talking about strength and peace. And I gotta tell you, the tone here, the tone on the ground, the tone much closer to the action than Washington, D.C. is drastically different than what it seems like continues to be peddled from some of the highest offices of power in the world. And you know, it's hard to gain access to insights. It's hard to gain access to people. It's hard to hear what North Korean people actually think about this situation. It's hard to hear what people in the South think about the situation on the peninsula today. And I'm here. I got to be here because of the work you've invested in for so many years in Iraq and Syria, because of the way that you guys have demonstrated what is possible in terms of laying our lives down for others, because you've helped make it real that when we give our life away is when we actually find life. We've been invited, you and me, we've been invited here together to talk about preemptive love. We've been invited to talk about a better way forward for peace. There are people all over this peninsula. Right back behind me here is North Korea. And there are people on both sides of this thing who believe that continued escalation and continued talk of bombing and things like that is not going to bring the peace that we need. If we've learned anything in Iraq over the last decade plus, if we've learned anything in Syria, it's that bombs might be able to drive the enemy out. Bombs might be able to help overthrow regimes, but bombs cannot bring us peace. Only love can do that. So I just wanted to bring you some insights, some vignettes of conversations that I've been having here on the peninsula as we are here on the border talking to people from all sides and sharing our thoughts and spurring each other on and encouraging each other to give our lives away in pursuit of each other's flourishing. I'd say the main thing that we hear here is how deeply people want to be reunited with their family members in the North. Koreans in the South want to be reunited with Koreans in the North. And there's a significant amount of people who are gravely concerned about U.S. rhetoric and the escalation of tensions that have commenced over the last year. Many people that I am with here believe that the U.S. is a far greater threat than North Korea itself. And many people here believe that the North will never give up its weapons, and that any continued insistence of the United States that they do give up their weapons is just a further kind of drum beating that will do nothing to improve relations between the two countries. And I'd say that maybe one of the reasons that I'm here, one of the reasons that we've been invited here, is because there are so many parallels to what we've seen in Iraq, to what we've seen in Syria, and to what we've seen in Libya. Namely, in Iraq and Libya, you had two tyrannical, dictatorial leaders who actually did de-escalate their weapons of mass destruction programs. And after those programs were weakened, the American military came in and overthrew those countries. And the North here has taken that to heart, and they've realized that our only measure of defense is to continue to pursue these weapons. That alone will allow us to bring the U.S. to the table so that we actually have some kind of diplomatic leverage. A lot of people here believe that the North really wants to talk. A lot of people here believe that the North is not foolhardy, is not crazy. And maybe this is the insight that's so hard to pick up in American media today. But People here don't talk about Kim Jong-un and the North Korean government as though they were psychotic, though they are monsters, as though they are not pursuing some kind of rational self-interest. People here think that they are pursuing a very rationalized foreign policy, and that continued development of their own weapons is one of the surest means of their defense. I guess that would be their perspective. And you know, this is not to say that our North Korean friends here who have managed to just escape across that border, that they have not lived under deprivation. They have. It's not to say that they think that the North Korean government is providing everything that they would want for their families and their people. They have those claims to make, but you know, they want to go home. North Korea is their home, and I'd say to a person, we continue to hear how much they want to return to their home, and this idea that somehow North Korea is this place that no one would ever want to live in, and run by monsters who have no rational reasons for what they're doing. That does not resonate with what people here think and feel and are saying by and large. People here feel, I would say in large part, that the North Korean government is doing what they know how to do to survive, to pursue their own economic interests, to not be further threatened and have further sanctions put upon them, and to be further pushed out of the realm of negotiation. I'm not here to debate moral equivalency and things like that, but I do recognize this scenario, and I think this is what people here are most concerned about, is that the drums of war are beating, and the more we dehumanize our enemies, or our would-be enemies, or our supposed enemies, the more we portray them as monsters, the more we portray them as irrational, the more we portray them as completely inhumane or unhuman, the easier it is for us to wipe them off the map. The easier it is for us to have the justification we need to create preemptive actions against them. And people here are savvy to that. They see what we're doing, and they see that the continued manipulations of the American government of reality on the ground, and the continued one-sided representation of what people in the North actually think about their government. People in the North, by all accounts that I've heard here, are very proud. Maybe this is the thing that hasn't made it through. People in the North are very proud of the weapons system that the North has put together, because they hear U.S. rhetoric, they hear talk of fire and fury, the likes of which the world has never seen, and they are terrified that the United States is going to commit preemptive nuclear war against their country. They are terrified of us. The people, not just the government. The people are terrified, and not just from some propagandized message, but from our own words, from our own president, from our own government. They are terrified that we are going to wipe them off the map. And so, they are proud of a government that has continued to pursue a weapon system that can protect them from us. Speaking as an American to my American friends here, I don't want to live in that world. I don't want to live in a world where we continue to perpetrate that kind of fear in other people's hearts. I want to live in a world where we give ourselves sacrificially. I want to live in a world where the people demand that we have leaders and pressure our leaders, both at the schools that we attend, and the churches and mosques and temples where we worship, and the elective representatives that we have. I want to live in a world where our faith and our love influences who we put in office to represent us. And where we would say as a people, where we would say as a country, where we would say as the populace, we want to give our lives away. We don't want to build our country on the backs of others. We don't want to pursue GDP growth while other people suffer and starve. We don't want to enrich our defenses. We don't want to enrich our well-being while other people cower in fear that we're going to blast them off the face of the earth. And so, in preemptive love, in self-sacrifice, we will give ourselves away. We will forego what we could have. We will be humble and not claim what otherwise might be thought of as rightfully ours. We will relinquish some of that in the name of preemptive love. We will go in relationship to others. This government has made it extremely difficult for me to walk across that border right now. And the only message that we hear in America is that that government back there has made it hard for me to walk across. But that's not true. It's not that simple. Our government is preventing me from walking right across the border right now. Our government is preventing me from walking right across and meeting North Koreans on that side and telling you the truth of what they experience and what they think and what they want in this world. And so diplomacy at every level is being thwarted, and military action and the drums of war at every beat are getting louder and louder and louder. So we're here. We're here to listen, we're here to learn, we're here to encourage, we're here to tell people from the front lines of what we've lived in Iraq and Syria. One, we don't want more war. And two, if, God forbid, it happens, the most loving thing we can do is to rush into the front lines and give ourselves away amidst the fire and the fury on behalf of those who are suffering. This is what love demands. This is what peace requires. And if we will only sit on the sidelines and launch bombs from afar, we can be assured we will have no peace. We might be able to overthrow enemies, but we will not be able to bring about the more beautiful world our hearts know is possible. Tomorrow starts today. What is the more beautiful world your heart knows is possible? And what can we do together to pursue it? Who can you move toward? Who can you lean toward? What pain can you press into? How can we give ourselves more sacrificially in the name of love? Thanks for sending me here to be on the North Korean border, to stand with our friends on both sides and to pursue peace. It's an honor to be here on your behalf, in your name, and in pursuit of preemptive love and the more beautiful world. Honored to be with you in this. More to come. God bless you.